Hey guys, DIY Dad here, and we have a different kind of video tonight. Instead of building something with wood, I'm actually going to be doing a DIY project in my truck. I have a 2014 Dodge Ram. It's got this awesome giant screen and infotainment system, but what it does is CarPlay. CarPlay wasn't introduced in Dodge until 2018. So what I have is a 2018 stereo in this box over here, as well as an adapter kit and a few other things. And everything I've read says this is going to be plug and play. So we're going to see if we can get this dash apart and swap the radio out. Now it's 9 o'clock at night. It's going to get darker. I'm not sure how well this video is going to work, but we'll try it out. First step on all of this, from everything I've read, is to obviously take apart the dash. For that, the initial thing we're going to want to do, and I'm not going to try to hold this while doing it, is pull this center bezel. Now, obviously I'll turn the truck off for that, and you should disconnect the negative battery terminal and all of that. But mainly, what you're going to do to take this bezel off is on the top here, there are these little kind of rubber trays. So this tray comes off. There's another one down in here, and another one down here, and under each of those rubber trays you're going to find screws. Those screws are T20 Torx screws, so we'll pull those out first. I think the ones down here are Phillips, so we'll swap for Phillips for that. That's going to allow this piece right here to come off. We are going to have to take this center piece of the dash off as well, and that's done with, again, just a couple screws. It's like 6 screws and the whole thing comes apart. Everything else is pressure clips. So I'm going to get started on that. I'm not going to disconnect all of the other accessories that are here. Everything I've read says I should be able to just take this bezel and fold it down and get access to back behind it. And thankfully Dodge kept all of their wiring standard, so it should be pretty plug and play. There's a little change we'll have to do in the center console to make the USB work, but I'm going to get this taken apart. And hey, now my overhead lights came on. So I'm going to get this taken apart, and then we will kind of check in at the next step. See you in a minute. All right, so no real drama. Screws came out just fine. I did have to get a longer extension to get into this one. It is quite deep and my driver didn't quite reach it. Next step is going to be to pull this chrome ring, which comes off, as you can probably see, just with pressure clips here. So pull that up, and then the entire center console piece should come apart and lift out as well. So we'll do that. That'll get this kind of console out of the way, and then this piece should be able to tip forward. It can't tip forward otherwise because of the way that the two pieces meet up here. So we'll get this stuff out of the way, tip this forward, and that should give us access to the back of this radio so that we can pull the 4 screws off that, swap it over, move the plugs, and we're pretty much done with the dash. So yeah, it's getting dark. The overhead light is awkward here. It keeps going bright to dim, so I'll have something I'll have to figure out with what's going on with that in the future. But as advertised, all of this pulled apart really nicely. So it's just pressure clips, just pops right out. No drama at all. So now we'll take the dash, and we're supposed to be able to just grab this and pull this forward, and that should give us access to the screws underneath. And then we'll get the stereo pulled out. So we're gonna have to do it this way. Bezel's folded down, as you should be able to see. I will say, when you do this, the easiest seems to be to kind of start at a corner, probably down near the bottom, and kind of pop it loose, and then work your way up around pulling the pressure clips. That helped me to get it loose. But once that's out of there, this radio is actually held in just by 4 little bolts. On the side here, there's 7mm, so I gotta go grab a socket for that. And then I should be able to pop the new stereo into its place. And then we'll get to the last little part of this, which has to do with the little USB hub. So I'm going to grab 7mm. We'll pull this out, get a look at the back of the radio. It should be just a straight plug and play to the new stereo, and then put everything back together and fire it up and see what happens. All right, so the stereo is disconnected. There's a number of color-coded plugs on here and one large black plug at the bottom. That black plug has a safety catch on the top of it. So what you're going to do is there's a little tab on the side by my finger here. And you can find much better lighted or lit, I guess, videos out there on how to remove it, but essentially you push the tab in and then there's a lever across the top that flips up and then the whole plug should come off. For the others, they just have a little pressure clip. You just squeeze them and pop them out. And then the new stereo has the same color coding, so the same plugs go in the same spots, and then we'll reattach it. Hey, welcome back. So different day, different shirt, same me, same project. I actually stopped last night a little bit unexpectedly because of some weird things I was seeing with the radio that gave me pause and made me talk to the seller a little bit. Namely, a bunch of my features weren't there. None of the settings for the vehicle were there. SXM wasn't working. It wasn't showing my backup camera, a bunch of stuff like that. And that was after about an hour or so of playing with it after it had been installed. So I paused, went in, sent a few emails, and got a reply back that I didn't exactly believe in, which suggested that I needed to let the truck sit overnight. And turns out that was true. So the radio in these vehicles talks to the computer in the vehicle, and it does it on like a messaging time sync. So it's not instantaneous. It takes it a while for the two to talk back and forth, and the radio actually configures off the computer on the truck. So after sitting overnight, came back out, started it up, and my backup camera's here, my settings are here, all the config is there, all of my convenience settings are there, everything works. So this is my radio, the new one in the truck. So I have all of my apps, I've got all my options, my controls, my nav, everything else, and it's a much crisper screen than the screen that was in the 2014 Ram. This is a higher definition screen, you can tell. Camera doesn't look as good, I think, because the screen resolution is higher. The camera looks softer compared to like the graphics on everything else, but that's a minor thing. But everything else is working except for the heated seats and the heated steering wheel, at least from the radio. So in my controls, there are control settings for those. You'll see those are actually grayed out, so if I try to click them, they're not going to do anything. The truck has physical buttons for this. In 2018, there was a different spot where they plugged into the back of the radio for the controls that are here. There's an adapter I can get. It's $180. For 180 bucks, I will just use the physical buttons down here and not worry about having controls on the radio because it doesn't do much for me anyway. So at this point, I'm ready to put everything back together. So I'm going to put the lower console back together, and then I have a USB hub that I have to replace to enable CarPlay, and we will make sure that that's working and we'll be done. So I'm going to put this back together and I'll be back with you in a minute. Okay, dashboard is put back together, center console is all reattached, everything went back together really effortlessly. Last thing we have to do then has to do with the center console. In the center console in this truck, there's a little USB hub. It's that thing right there. And what that allows you to do is plug in your flash drives, phones, SD cards, things like that, and have the stereo read it. Now the problem is that particular USB hub doesn't support the type of connection that an Android phone or an iPhone would need to actually do the data connection for CarPlay. It's like having USB 2.0 versus 3.0. So we do have to update it. The radio that I bought came with this. This is the updated Mopar, GM Chrysler piece, not GM, sorry. The updated Mopar piece for the USB hub. I do lose the SD card, not overly heartbroken about that. So what's gonna happen is we're going to take this apart, and it's just like everything else. This little rubber piece comes off, and there's a couple screws underneath. So we'll pull this apart. That'll give us access to the back of the USB hub, and then it's really just pop the old one out, pop this one in, and there's a little adapter cable that came with my radio that lets this connect up to the 2014 wiring harness, just a slightly different plug. And then at that point, we should be able to plug in the phone and have CarPlay turn on for us. So that's exciting. I'm back in a second. So I got this tray completely disconnected, and I wanted to show you this because there's a little trick to getting this apart. So with the tray disconnected, there were 7 of those T20 screws. What you want to do is you're going to grab the tray and kind of pull it towards the front of the truck, and then it's going to lift off, and that will allow you to then pull it free, and it'll get you access to these plugs in the back. And then this USB hub has these little kind of pressure clips all the way around it. So you're just going to kind of squeeze it and then work the hub back towards the back of the vehicle. So this whole thing, once it's unplugged, should just slide out going that way. There is a separate USB power port right here that's just power. That one we're going to leave alone. So the cable for that, this far kind of right cable, or left I guess as you're looking at it, we're going to leave that one alone. We're just going to deal with the ones here in the middle, these two connections for the USB. Those will connect into the ports on the back of this, and then like I said, this will slide directly back into that space and we'll be ready to go. So I'm going to get that swapped out. Can't do that with one hand, so back in a second. So I've got the new USB port mounted. You'll see it is a little bit smaller, so you've got these little gaps on either side, which is normal. It's not an exact fit, but it does sit in there nice and securely. The pressure clips are all attached, so it's not going to move around or rattle or anything. This is the back side of the panel. So I've got my adapter cable here plugged into the main connection. This will plug into that, and then the USB connector goes into the bottom of the two USBs here. This hub does allow for a pass-through, so you could plug in an extra USB cable and run it elsewhere in the truck if you wanted an additional connection, but we're not going to deal with that for now. So plug into the bottom, that goes into the stock spot, and then we've got the cable on the right. I'll get this attached, get it all rewired, and then we'll see if it works. All right, as soon as I plugged this in and turned the accessory on the truck, instantly CarPlay popped up on my phone and asked if it could operate in lock mode. I enabled that, and then instantly on the radio, CarPlay showed up. So if I tap this, this is the full Apple CarPlay interface, fully functional in my 2014 Dodge Ram. So I've got access to my phone, my music, my Google Maps or Apple Maps, depending on what you've got installed. I have full access to Pandora and all of the music stations that I have set up within that. And we're ready to go, and we'll call this one a success. So that's going to do it for me today. Really, the only thing I didn't like about this truck has now been taken care of. I have full CarPlay, which is one thing I wanted for driving cross country with the camper that you're seeing over my shoulder here, as I wanted nav and I wanted to be able to use Pandora. Now the truck had nav built into it. I like the one that's built into the phone a little bit better. It seems to be more reactive to some of the map updates, traffic alerts, things like that. So now I have best of both worlds. I can use the navigation on the truck and save my phone battery, or I can use the navigation from the Apple and do all of that. If I ever switch to an Android, I've got full Android Auto as well. All right, and as always, I'm going to leave you with a dad joke, and that is, why do artists hate brand new colored pencils? Well, from an artist's perspective, a brand new pencil is pointless. Have a great day. Stay safe, guys. Talk to you next time. Bye.